Good morning, everyone. On today's Level 1 podcast, we've got some interesting news to discuss, but sadly, it's not the kind of news that really you feel good about. Insomniac Games has had a series of awful data breach leaks happen due to a group of hackers who have ransomed them. These leaks include game data, which is fine. You always are interested in the lineup of games that's coming out from a game studio, but it's unfortunate when it leaks this early before they were ready to announce it. But really, the serious problem here is that it's personal data of the employees. So we will talk about this, analyze it, and I'm sure you guys will also have a lot to say. All this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everyone, so I'm Phil, no duh, and welcome to the show. Today's Tuesday, the 19th of December, 2023. Welcome to to Mobius, actually. We're in Mobius today, enjoying the nice winter weather. Good thing there's no Dr. Eggman nearby. And today will be a pretty good day of streaming. All chill content today, and what I mean by that is the lineup today is going to be RoboCop and Like a Dragon Gaiden, which are both games that have been very chill, relaxing playthroughs. You know, open world exploration, questing and searching and side questing, combat. It should be a good time, and we're going to have great progress, perhaps maybe even finish one of them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I'm excited for today. Great holiday week coming up with all these specials coming up, and now the ability for you to start voting on the Christmas game that will be played. What I actually did yesterday is I tallied up all the nominations for games to be played during my upcoming Christmas Marathon this Saturday. Members have chosen a game, and now it is your turn to choose a game via a poll, okay? So all this will be discussed on today's show. It's going to be a good one. But man, these data breaches, this is not good. This is a really, really bad sign of, I feel, things to come in the gaming industry, all right? And here's the thing, like, gaming has been huge for a very long time. I mean, I would argue the 1990s is when video games started to hit their stride and get mainstream coverage, although admittedly it was probably the late 2000s, early 2010s when they became so big that they overpassed all other mediums of entertainment when it comes to revenue, that is. But this is just so odd that now, in the modern day, a lot of the times now, we are getting way more information about upcoming releases due to these leaks, right? I mean, just recently, we had the Grand Theft Auto 6 big announcement teaser, and it was supposed to come out on a certain day and time, and everyone was hyped, and it was pre-uploaded to YouTube at that date and time, and everyone was ready to watch it live and react to it and cover it, and, you know, the whole internet was abuzz with this, and then it leaked early. Right? I mean, GTA 6, hell, last year we had leaked information. Remember when we saw the early build of the game before we were ever supposed to? And then it was confirmed later by Rockstar. Yeah, that was real, but that's like early assets. That's not what the game looks like today. And it just seems more often than not these days, it just seems like these leaks are happening more and more often. And that's so unfortunate and so dangerous in a lot of ways when you think about it, because this is not just, oh, some game data is leaking. Now people are getting access to employee information, you know, names, addresses, phone numbers. In some cases, I've heard like private data that no one should have access to. There's a difference between, okay, you know my address and my phone number, right? Or, oh, like you have my full social security number. You have information about my logins at the company, right? You have email trails and communications data that was supposed to be part of internal documentation for the company. That's stuff that's supposed to be safe. You know what I mean? That's not okay in any instance to leak. And that's what's happening right now. So we're now starting to live in a world where it seems like nothing you do is really safe. And we've had this kind of, this feeling of, how can I say, not security, but maybe more like, as long as we don't actively put ourselves at risk, we're okay. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, I've been talking with you guys about this over the last decade. More increasingly, what's happened is people have found ways to get people's information and harass them online, whether or not it even makes sense for them to do so. All right? How many people who are fans of someone on the internet have a public-facing social media account? Right now, if you're someone watching this podcast or listening to it after the fact, and you have a social media account tied to the account that you watch this on, that's bad. I'm just being honest. I don't feel like in the modern day that anyone should have any kind of a public-facing account that has their real name or any information tied to their real life stuff going on. So many people back in the day used to have a Facebook. I mean, before Facebook, it was MySpace, but now it's a Facebook. Excuse me. And on their Facebook, they got everything. Oh, where I live, all the places that I hang out with, photos to geotag all the places I go all day, my place of work, all my coworkers, and all of their information. And by the way, they're all on my friends list tagged, so you know who they are too. And then my relatives are on there too. I mean, just from someone's social media page, someone could engineer a very elaborate attack campaign. And you may think, oh, that's just an over-exaggeration. It's happened. It's happened to me. It's happened to some of my loved ones. It's happened to some of my viewers. It's happened to some of my moderators. It's happened to people who are just casually coming by. And that's just someone watching a YouTuber, okay? Now imagine a company of people running a big business, one of the big game developers out there. They're making giant money. They just had a humongous successful release with Spider-Man 2. And what ends up happening is these hackers, right, start seeing dollar signs. Oh, if I can get access to all of that data from that company, we can really make big bank. Because that company is $1 million company. Every game they sell, they're selling millions of copies. So you know they're making an insane amount of profits, right? Since they've had success after success, they're not likely to have a bunch more successful games in the pipeline. So if we can get access to that data, right, we can hold them for ransom. And it's not only just the game data, but let's do everything, right? Let's make sure that they're all with the gun to their head, basically. And let's do this and make it a situation where it's do or die for them, right? And it's incredibly messed up. Because do you think that anyone who works for Insomniac deserves that? For what? Because they make video games? Like, huh? Well, what are you talking about? These are people who are just normal people striving to make a work of art and, of course, a digestible product for people to purchase. They've done great jobs. It's not like this is a company that's making crap and ripping people off or anything like that. This is a good company. They made some really great games in the last, 5 to 10 years. And notably, the last 2 Spider-Man games and the Miles Morales expansion have been outstanding. Okay? So, before we get to the details of the data breach and all of that, because we are going to talk about that, I just wanted to say something up front. This is, I feel, kind of the beginning of a very bad trend. Because at one point, I feel like we all felt like we're secure, right? If you work for a company, you're secure. If you're dealing with a giant company, whether it's a school that has all of your personal data because you're enrolled there, a financial institution that holds your bank account or maybe your investments or things like that, you think, oh, they have a legal responsibility to protect my data. And in reality, none of that seems to really exist. It seems like now we live in a society. But that society is one that's not safe. It's one where at a moment's notice, all of your data can be thrown all over the internet on a whim. And it almost seems like we have to live with that now and figure out how to deal with the repercussions of that. That's bad. You know, that means that we basically, I mean, I know that this sounds like, oh, an old man is basically ranting, okay? But here's the deal. Sometimes you get a cat hair in your mouth because your cat walks right in front of you on camera. And other times, advanced technology, right, can push to a level where maybe we've advanced it a little bit too much and we didn't put enough safeguards and securities in the way to stop from this kind of malicious behavior. Let's be honest. Is it fair to anyone? Is it safe to have your information, like your name, your address, your phone number, your private information, private communications all over the internet? No, it's not. People can use that information to hurt you. Trust me, I know firsthand, okay? And it's really messed up that now we're just supposed to throw our hands up and say, oh, well, that's modern life now. We all have to deal with it. No. We let the entire world go internet-based. And when we did, we didn't put the safeguards in place to stop this kind of stuff from happening. We just said, throw everything on the internet and just trust everyone with the information rather than say, let's be sure that there is redundant protections, that there are safety nets in place, that there's no way that this stuff could ever happen in a way that could harm customers, employees, friends, relatives, whatever it may be, right? Like, these companies should be held accountable. And for as much as people might look at Insomniac and say, well, they make great games and they're well-intentioned, Insomniac has a legal responsibility to protect the data of all of their employees. And the fact that this happened is very unfortunate, and I'm sure people are going to say, well, they're a victim. Well, they are. But at the same time, it was their responsibility to make sure this didn't happen, and they're legally liable for anything that happens to their employees as a result of this data breach. Much like any other company that you deal with, they have a legal responsibility to protect your private information. And if your private information goes public because they were negligent, because they basically failed in their efforts to keep your business, your own business, that's a lawsuit. Now imagine every employee suing Insomniac at once. Now, do you think they want to do that? No, they probably love their jobs. I mean, they're making great games. But this is a situation where something's got to change. How is it that we're now getting leak after leak after leak after leak after leak from all these companies? What is happening that there's so many potential backdoors and breaches into their data? It just doesn't seem to make sense. This never used to happen. And now all of a sudden, it's like every game it happens. So what gives, right? Anyway, I wanted to give my initial impressions on the situation early. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through a little bit of a recap of what happened on yesterday's streams. We're going to go through the schedule for the week. Obviously, I want to talk about the Christmas event because now we kind of know what's going on with the games for that. And then we're going to get to the news segment, and I'd like to cover what leaked because a lot of the information is game-related, which is interesting to talk about. And then we'll go from there, okay? All right, so first of all, today is my next to last streaming day of the week, consecutively, that is, because Thursday is my day off, okay? And so, let's go ahead and talk about yesterday's streams. Fair enough? So yesterday, full day of gameplay streaming, unlike Sunday, because, you know, on Sunday, it was a React day. But on Monday, we did double gameplay streams. The first stream was more Baldur's Gate 3, and the late stream was Street Fighter 6, attempting to play Master Rank with Dalsim, and I really mean that, attempting to play, and I'll explain in a moment. So, the Baldur's Gate 3 stream, I think it went well. Although, I'll be honest with you guys, I did feel like a lot of people who were on the stream were trying to push me in a certain direction that I didn't want to go in yet. I've had these established quests kind of sitting on the map. Go talk to this Karlach, go to the Goblin camp, go rescue the guy who's the leader of the Druids and stuff like that. And people were kind of telling me to go do that. And I was like, you know, but there's a lot of stuff we didn't really do. If you look at the map, there was an eastern part of the town where we didn't explore yet. And then there was a western part to the town that we didn't explore yet. All these kind of outer environments and things. And I kind of felt more like I just wanted to explore the areas I didn't touch upon yet before we moved on to these established quests that had been marked on the map. So that's what we did. And we went eastward, where we found a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we found an assassin who we took care of. We found a woman who was trying to compose a song, and we helped her with that. We found a surprise attack of a group of harpies who mind-controlled my party and then continuously dodged 98% of the attacks I threw at them. It was one of the most frustrating fights I've ever seen in any RPG. And from what I'm to understand, that's pretty much how Baldur's Gate 3 plays. And I was very vocal in my criticism, stating I didn't like that. What's the point of playing a game if literally all your inputs are skipped because of bad dice rolls? It's really frustrating. And, you know, to me, I get it. Everything's supposed to be RNG, but at some point, you have to feel like a level of enjoyment and accomplishment doing the combat of the game. And if you can have an entire fight where you literally can't hit an enemy because the game just gives you bad luck, I think that's terrible gameplay. I'm just being honest. Like, that's my criticism, and you could disagree, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm just telling you, as a lifelong gamer, someone who's played a zillion RPGs, I don't want to play a game where it feels like my input is just completely discredited, right? I've leveled up my characters a certain way. I have a certain build. Now I want to utilize that. Now, oh, you did everything good. You have a great party, but by the way, miss. Now this arbitrary fight that should have basically been a normal fight takes 45 minutes because everything just missed for 15 minutes straight. Like, what? And that's how the game played. You know what I'm saying? So it drove me nuts, all right? But we got it done. As a result of doing a bunch of side questing, I actually was rewarded with a really good reward. Basically, this group of tiefling children who are making like their own thieves guild befriended me. And now they're saying when you finally get to Baldur's Gate, so spoilers because the game keeps saying that. It keeps saying you're going to Baldur's Gate. I do think that that's kind of a spoiler. Like, who knows? Maybe in the game you never would have got there, but apparently we're getting there because everything in the game is alluding to this. Apparently when we get to Baldur's Gate, these kids are going to be starting their new guild, and they're going to befriend you and help you. So hopefully, after having doing like 3 side quests where I always help the kids, this will pan out later on in the game. Continuing on, after having explored basically that entire eastern part of the town, we went west, and west of the town there was all this stuff. We ran into an old woman who apparently was actually a witch, that we have to follow up with later. We found a bunch of combat and stuff on the road. We were heading north. We went to this goblin. Well, it wasn't really a goblin town. What it was a town that had been sacked, and the goblins were in it. So we went there, and we actually talked to the goblins and almost like, didn't really befriend them, but intimidated them to the point where they're not going to attack us. So we were able to explore the town freely, and we actually ran into a group of trolls, and through a series of speech checks, befriended the trolls, and now the trolls are actually going to come help us later in the game, which is pretty cool. Went into this basement, where we found a bunch of hidden items, and through a series of challenges, got a Necronomicon book. I don't know what we do with it yet, but we have it. And then we started heading north, and we're doing a few more things. I think we rescued a gnoll that was tied to a windmill, was being tortured by goblins, and we basically got the goblins out of there. And that was like the last thing that we did. We ran out of time. So basically 3 hours was very fun because we got to see so many various different things that are set up in this game for enjoyment, and we didn't do any major plot. And I hope people are okay with that. Some people didn't seem to be. They were all so pissed that I didn't go to this Carlock part of the map and do this mission. I'm like, but you gotta understand, it's the whole point of the RPG is to explore, and you play it at your own pace, and you do your own stuff. I thought it was a great stream. I really enjoyed it, and I want to say the people who were there seemed to really, they were very helpful, very supportive, engaging. Everything was great yesterday on that stream, except for that harpy fight that really pissed me off. You know what I mean? So it was good, and I'm looking forward to more tomorrow, because again, remember, Baldur's Gate is the main stream now. Like, this is what you guys wanted, so this is the main featured game moving forward for the foreseeable future until new games start coming out, okay? So, great stream of that, and then last night, it was Street Fighter 6, and as I told you guys, the whole idea was to continue on with Street Fighter 6 for one more month, to give the game its flowers and its send-off. I know, I said, give him its flowers. What a silly, stupid, memeable statement, right? But, yeah, basically I wanted to play it for one more month, because after this we're going to be focusing on Tekken 8. After Tekken 8, likely we will be going back to Street Fighter 6 for DLC characters, but we're not going to be playing it in any much the capacity that we've been doing in the last 6 to 7 months, where instead it's gonna be more, you know, maybe once a week thing, right? If that. So I wanted to focus on this more. And we played on Friday, and it was much better. Like last week when we first did Master Rank with Dalsim, it was terrible. All of the connections were awful. Every match had lag spikes, dropped inputs, and it was just a nightmare. It wasn't fun to play. When I played on Friday, it was better. The connections overall were better. I was still dropping some inputs, but man, it was a better experience. And maybe that's a result because it was Friday night, more people were playing, and because more people are playing, the player pool's bigger, so now the game is pulling better matches and connections. That very well could have been what it was. Last night was not enjoyable whatsoever. It was back to how it was last Monday. The matches were laggy as shit. You know, the average match that I played last night was a mid 50 milliseconds, which is bad. When you're playing Street Fighter 6, on average, the matches used to be anywhere from 10 to 30 milliseconds, and they were outstanding. You know, 50 milliseconds is okay, but definitely not good enough for Dalsim. The problem with Dalsim is he's slow. He needs to set up a situation where he keeps you away. He needs to react to everything you're doing to keep you away and punish your mistakes. And in a situation where the opponent gets lucky, or maybe you make a mistake, you need to be able to get the opponent off of you. And herein lies the problem when you're playing at 50 milliseconds or higher with Dalsim. You can't do anything. When someone's in your face, you can't break a throw whatsoever. There were entire matches where people would just walk forward, throw, throw, throw. And I would literally, the moment on my television, I was ready for it, that I saw the animation of the throw, I would press it, still get thrown. It would never break the throw. Too delayed. Excuse me. If you can't throw break, okay, you're done. Now, in addition to that, certain characters, i.e. the top tiers, such as DJ, Cammy, Jury, Ken, they have non-stop rushdown. They can literally do these almost uninterruptible rushdown strings, then followed up by drive rushes that make them even more safe. And the only way you can really get out of that is a drive reversal, meaning you block it and then you press forward plus 2 heavies and you break through the block. And they used to call it an alpha counter in the alpha series, but it's called a drive reversal in this game, okay? That's how you do it with Dalsim. Problem being, because the game is so laggy at 50 plus milliseconds, if someone's doing this rushdown and you do it, the game allows them to just sit there and block it, which should not happen. They should be committed to a move, and now you can be able to reverse it. 9 times out of 10, when I do my drive reversal, one of two things happens. Either it doesn't even give me the drive reversal. It'll say, oh, I just did drive impact. You never blocked and pressed forward in the heavies. You just did the heavies. No, I didn't. I did 2 directions. You're just a piece of laggy shit, and you didn't read my inputs properly. And that happened a lot. And the problem is you do one random drive impact by accident, whole game's done. Okay? Or they would drive rush and mash jab. And then I would do my drive reversal, and they would be able to block. In the real game, you can't really do that, okay? In the real game, if they're committing to an attack and you do drive reversal, they're going to get hit by the drive reversal. The problem is online, it's rollback netcode. So when you're getting a connection, all right, that's 50 plus milliseconds, the game favors mashers. They can be doing jab, 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 and if they see drive reversal, they can just stop pressing jab, down, back, and the game will give them the block even though they're not supposed to have it, because the game rolls back to a safe state. It's trash. Rollback netcode has always been trash. It always will be trash because it just assumes things that aren't actually being input. It's bullshit. It's outright. In a video we watched a couple months ago on my React show, the Cannon brother, I forget which one it is, if it's Tony or Tom, I always get them confused, and that's my fault. The Cannon brother who wrote rollback netcode outright explained it and admitted it's just guessing. It doesn't actually know what happened, but it guesses, and it gives you that outcome, and then it tries to catch up. So if you're just sitting there going jab, 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 it favors you. If you're just down backing, it favors you. But if you're the person reacting to something going on, you don't get the favorable outcome. So playing Dalsim, you always get the unfavorable outcome. While the person just walking up and going jab, 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 throw, jab, 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 throw, drive rush, jab, 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 throw, they always get the advantage with rollback netcode. So basically, unless you're going to get a great connection, which it's just not giving me at this point in master matches, it's pretty much unplayable, okay? And that's sad. I really like Dalsim. I know he's definitely a great character in this game. It's just that he needs to be played in a better environment than what this game provides now online. Now, perhaps that's different on PC. Because if you haven't noticed, the vast majority of people I'm playing at Master Rank are all playing on PC. It all says crossplay, crossplay. Those are all PC players. So maybe on PC they figured out a way to tweak the game to lower their input delay or whatever it is, but I don't have that advantage. I don't have a gaming PC. I don't have these tweaks in place. So I just got to put up with the fucking lag, and it's impossible. I'm telling you, it's impossible with Dalsim. It's just not fun. How is it that I can only play the game on certain days now? Right? Seriously. That's absolutely ridiculous. I can only play on Friday nights if I want to play with Dalsim, because that's the only day of the week where I'll get good enough connections to play with that particular character. Other days I gotta use other characters. What the fuck? This is so stupid, right? So here's the deal. I'm not gonna give up on Street Fighter 6, but at this point, I think we gotta give Dalsim a little bit of a rest. Alright? I just don't see the point of any of this at all. Okay? So, on Friday, I'm going to switch back to Blanca. But on Friday, what we're going to do is we're going to do a casual stream. Where it's going to be casual play, where I try to get back with Blanca and get to a level now where I can play with him again. Because I haven't used Blanca in months. Right? I literally haven't played with Blanca in how many months? Geez, was it like September? Because I remember, or maybe it was late October. No, I think it was September. Because in October, wasn't I going from September, October, wasn't I using Honda and then Lily? So I don't think I've actually used Blanca in like 3 months, right? So I got to get back to the level where I need to be good at the game again with this character that I really like. So Friday will be Friday Night Fights, casual play with Blanca. And then from there, we'll try to bring Blanca back to ranked and we'll see how it goes, okay? Fair enough? Okay, cool. So, I'm not giving up on Street Fighter, but that was a really frustrating, disappointing, very much waste of time stream again. It's just stupid that depending on what day I play, I might actually have a better day and connections and play better. It's dumb. You shouldn't have a game. What the fuck does that even mean? Think about that. You can only play a video game on a certain day because other days the game is shit. Like, what? What world do we live in, right? It's crazy. Anyway, today, we're doing completely the opposite. Today, it's a chill day. No frustrations, no nonsense. Today, it's going to be RoboCop Rogue City here on this first stream. And we're in the end game now. You know, we're about 14 hours into the game. And people are saying, even if you do all the content, it's about 17 to 20 hours long. Now, I've missed a few missions. Every time that I go into one of these new chapters, I've essentially missed a mission or two. Because they are missable if you don't know where they are. So, you know, I don't know if that means that today we can beat the game or not. If we don't, arguably, we'll only need like maybe tops one more stream to beat it. I don't know if it would need a major stream or if we could actually beat it on like a 2-hour night stream. I guess we have to see how far we are by the end of today, okay? And I know some of you have already either played this game or watched a playthrough of it, so you'll be able to tell me, you know, progress-wise, where exactly we are. So let's see. Let's see how that goes, and hopefully we'll make great progress, have a good chill time today, story advancement, but also maybe some side content. As always, I love playing this game because it has open worlds and chill environments where we can interact and relax and talk, but then sometimes we get wrapped up in big story elements. Like, that's what happened last time is, first there was a big showdown in a factory where we fought, well, not a factory, a warehouse, where we fought a bunch of robots, and then we had to do a prison break where we fought a bunch of prisoners and then a bunch of, like, private mercenaries. It was crazy. It was, like, so much combat, and I'm like, wow, that was very different than the stream before where it was open world missions and stuff. So I'm excited. I don't know. Swagonitos says, is there a completion percentage in the game? I have absolutely no idea. I don't think we've seen that. We could look, but I don't think there is. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, the game, I compare it to Deus Ex in a lot of ways. And I don't even remember if Deus Ex had like a completion percent. I don't think it did, right? But I'm excited for the stream. I hope you guys are too. I hope you will stick around after this podcast ends and hang out with me for RoboCop. Okay? Then tonight on the late stream, it's Like a Dragon Gaiden. And if you want to talk about a flip, we're not doing side content tonight. We've been doing so much side content in Like a Dragon Gaiden that tonight I want to solely focus on story, okay? I want to just get a bunch of story progression, even if that means 2 straight hours of it. We'll see. But, man, we need to because we've been doing so much grinding. We're doing Coliseum fights with these AI-controlled characters, right? We've been doing open world, going through Sotenbori and looking for missions and doing fights in the streets and taking out gangs and looking for items and opening lockers and solving mysteries and doing all this stuff. And that's all well and good. But at some point, we need to have some kind of major progress in this game to advance to the next part. In fact, we've hit a part where now there's missions that we can do, but we can't do them until we advance to the next part of the story. Like, it's locked behind the time of day. And we've been stuck at night for like 10 hours, right? So we needed to advance to daytime again. So, tonight, it's all about the story. I hope you will join me tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, right here on DSPGaming for advancement with Like a Dragon Gaiden, okay? Then, tomorrow, the final consecutive streaming day of the week, it will be more Baldur's Gate 3, which, again, I'm excited for. We'll continue on exploring. I'll be talking about feedback, because I've been getting a lot of feedback. You know, I'm reading all the video comments on the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, and there's a lot of interesting ones. People have different takes on stuff. And so tomorrow I'll address some of that stuff in the gaming that we'll do of it, because some people are like, oh, you should have rested, you should have done this. I want to talk to the audience about it and get their take on that. So that'll be tomorrow. And then tomorrow night will be Modern Warfare 3, but really I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Do you guys want to see me do another stream of dual Renettis and messing around with different loadouts, or do you want to see me do Warzone again? I'm down for either. I feel like either is fine. Some nights the multiplayer is better than others because it really depends on map selection and stuff like that. So one night you might have a crazy, oh my god, I'm going crazy, kill streaks, score streaks, going wild, singing, going crazy. And then another night might not be as good because it's a bunch of maps where it doesn't really lend to that kind of gameplay. Warzone, again, I'm okay with. Last time we played Warzone, I made top 3. So I'm okay with Warzone as well. But I'll probably do a poll, and we'll see what you guys want tomorrow, okay? So that's tomorrow night, and then I'm not here Thursday. When I come back on Friday, it'll be more Baldur's Gate 3 and Friday Night Fights, where I'll finally go back to Blanca for the first time in months. I'll probably watch some Blanca tech videos, which I haven't watched also in months, and try to get back up to speed with the character. And then Friday night will be casual play with Blanca, trying to get good with him again, and then possibly, you know, going back to Master. And then Saturday's the big one. It's the big Christmas Marathon event. All right, so I actually have a couple of announcements in regards to the Christmas Marathon event. Number one, we know what the members game will be, because the members have spoken. There it is. Good. Oh, wow, that's really good. Okay, so the members have spoken. The members have nominated The Grinch Christmas Adventures as the game that will be played on Saturday. Pretty pertinent. It's supposedly only a 3-hour-long game, okay? It is a action platformer where you play as the Grinch, stealing the presents from Whoville, solving puzzles, and doing stuff like that, okay? Apparently, people are saying it's actually genuinely pretty good. The only problem is that it's way overpriced. The game is essentially 3 hours long, and it costs $40. The game came out in October, okay? So the thing is, most people didn't buy it. However, right now, it's going on sale everywhere but PlayStation. I want you to think about this. On PlayStation, the game is $40. But if you buy it physically, you can get it right now for $25. The problem is you can't buy it physically and have it ship in time for Saturday. It would come like in January. So obviously, I can't do it that way. All right? But here on Xbox Live, they've discounted the game to $28. So at least in that regard, it's not as expensive, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So that game will be played. I'll buy that and install it and have it done by the end of the week here. That game will be played during the Christmas Marathon. Now, since it's only 3 hours long, we'll probably play it for about an hour during the Christmas Marathon. And if you guys enjoy it, right, if you guys like the game, we could just simply do like a late night stream later on this month, maybe right after Christmas, to actually beat the game. Why not? I bought it, and it'll be silly fun, right? It doesn't have to be anything too serious. It'll be festive for the holiday, so maybe we'll actually beat it. I guess we'll see. But anyway, that's the game that the members have selected. What's the other game that I'm going to play during the Christmas Marathon? Well, you're going to determine that, because the poll is now live. If you type !Christmas into the chat, or if you check the community tab of the channel right now, it's only like a post or two back, you'll find a poll. 5 games are in contention. The games are as follows. Wait. I'll bring it up because I forgot one of them. I actually forgot the first game in the poll. Okay, the games are as follows. Phasmophobia, Mario Maker 2, Evil West, RimWorld, and Disco Elysium. Out of those games, I clearly know what 3 of them are. I don't really know what 2 of them are. So, RimWorld, I've never even heard of. I don't even know what the hell that is. Disco Elysium, everyone's told me to play it over the years, but I don't even know what it is. I've never paid attention to it. Evil West is that game from last year that I actually was going to play in the fall, but people urged me not to and to do other stuff instead, so I never played it. People say it's okay. It's not, like, amazing, but it's not bad. It's kind of like those middle-of-the-road games. That was a decent game, but a lot of people glossed over it because it came out during the fall when there was all these other AAA games out, so that's why I never played it. Mario Maker 2, we all know. I played it when it was new on the Switch. The appeal of Mario Maker 2 to me would be if it gets voted in, we could just go right into the online created matches or created levels and search right for Christmas. And for like an hour, we can play like 10, 20 Christmas levels, right? And see what people have come up with Christmas-themed stuff over the many years that Mario Maker 2's been out. Because now it's been years, right? Like, how many years has that game been out? 4 or 5 years or something like that? So there's likely quite a lot of levels that have been made over the years that are Christmas-themed. So that could be fun. Now, Phasmophobia, I was supposed to play on Halloween. I had it all lined up. And I was totally supposed to play this game. And it never happened because I got sick. And so the Halloween marathon didn't happen. Alright? I don't really know that much about Phasmophobia. But besides, it's a horror game that has, like, unique elements to it. That's literally all I know about it. So, if that gets voted in, I guess I'd be okay with that. We were already supposed to play it 2 months ago. And I guess we'll finally get to see it. Now, is that Christmas-themed? No. Absolutely not. But maybe it'll be good for variety to have, like, a spooky game for an hour and see if it's truly scary or not. I don't know. Right? And I would play that on my mini PC. I would actually have my mini PC get set up, and first time in months, I'd get it working and play Phasmophobia. Hopefully it works with a controller, because that's how I would play it. Okay? So those are the games in the running. Now, this poll hasn't even been live for a day yet, just to let you guys know. Over 1,100 votes already. That's a lot of votes for less than 24 hours. Right now, it's close between Phasmophobia and Mario Maker 2. It's only about a 5% voting differential. So if you do the math, it's about 50 votes. About 50 votes are determining between Mario Maker 2 and Phasmophobia. Third place is Disco Elysium, but that's way behind. I'm not even kidding you, about 20% behind. So you would basically need about 200, 300 more people to vote for that game to even get it up to the levels of the other games. So right now, it looks like Phasmophobia and Mario Maker 2 are going to be the ones in contention, but it could flip. I mean, right now, it's less than 24 hours. There's many of you who watch my stuff. Go over and vote on this poll. Do not, not let your voice be known. Be sure to vote on this poll, and probably Friday, I'll close it. We'll probably announce Friday morning the results, so that way I can, buy and install the game if I need to. If it's Mario Maker 2, I already own it. I bought it digitally, so I could just re-download it and just get it back on my Switch, and we could do those created levels. If it's Phasmophobia, I'd have to buy it and get it. And I think it was like, what, like $15 or $20 or something like that? It wasn't super expensive. I remember back on Halloween. So, quite frankly, I'm okay with either of those. If either of those win, that's fine. I wouldn't have any problems with either of those games winning. Let's see how it goes, but be sure to vote. Again, do not forget to vote. Let your voice be known. Exercise your right. No, this is not me trying to get you to vote for, like, politics. This is me trying to get you to vote for a video game for Christmas. It's much more important. Okay? So please do so. All right. So, on Saturday, what are we doing? It's the Christmas Marathon. All day long here on DSP Gaming. It's festive holiday fun. There's going to be a Level 1 podcast. There's going to be a schedule update where I'm going to go through all the game releases of January, February, March, and onward. And I'm going to outline them for you with all the ones that I'm interested in, so that we can get a general idea of the schedule of games coming out and figure out what I'm going to play. Okay? We're going to be doing a tier maker ranking classic and popular holiday movies and specials. Okay? In addition to that, we're going to be doing 2 games, which we already said, The Grinch and whatever other game wins this viewer's choice style poll. Okay? In addition to that, there's going to be food. Festive feasting with Phil. where I'm going to order some food and we're going to get it delivered. And I'm going to eat the meal here live with all of you and taste test it and tell you what I think. In addition to that, there's going to be booze and festive holiday attire. So I'll be switching clothes during the day. I have all these different holiday sweaters I'll be wearing, holiday hats, and I'm going to buy some liquor this week, probably some eggnog and probably 1 or 2 other things to alternate and drink over the course of the marathon. No, it's not going to be, oh, people need to contribute to see me drink. I'm just going to be drinking casually over the course of the day as I see fit. Okay? And then at the end of the day, after all that stuff is done, to close the show, I'm going to be having a festive holiday dessert that I have bought. It is something international. It's something I've heard of a million times, but I've never actually tried. So it's going to be something brand new that I've never had before, okay? This should be an absolutely fun and great event. I'm excited for it. I hope that you guys are too. The Christmas annual event continues this Saturday, the 23rd. And you might say, well, why are you doing it on the 23rd? That's not Christmas, right? Well, listen, I'm not dumb. I know that all of you have friends and family, and you've probably got stuff to do, both on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Why would I hold my annual holiday marathon on the days you're going to be busy? I want people to show up, so I'm going to do it on that Saturday, and hopefully a lot of you can show up for it. Even if you can just come by for like 5 minutes, right? But if you could come by for longer than that, great. If you could only show up at the beginning, if you could only show up at the end, if you could show up for a chunk in the middle, you know, we're going to be doing a variety of stuff all day long. You don't even know what I'll be doing when you show up because I'm doing so much, right? It's going to be a great show, and I certainly hope that you will join me for it all day Saturday. I'm absolutely sure this is going to be a day of positivity. Likely there's going to be some gifted memberships because, first of all, I'm gifting 10 memberships. I have the ability to give memberships out on my channel, 10 a month. And I'm going to be gifting all 10 memberships out this coming Saturday, okay? But I guarantee you there's going to be festive vibes, and probably people will be coming by to support, and maybe there'll be more gifted memberships to the community that day as well. Probably will have good attendance all that day, I would think. So come on by. The holiday marathon this Saturday. I'm very excited. Hope you guys are too. Now, I will be here on Sunday for Christmas Eve, but that's just going to be for a podcast and for my React show, and that's it. It's going to be a festive version of DSP versus the Internet. The vast majority of clips likely are going to be holiday-themed that are submitted, and it'll be the one thing I do on Christmas Eve. I'm not doing a late stream because that night I'm going to actually get food with my wife. We're going to relax. We're going to watch some Christmas stuff together, and then we're spending all day of Christmas together. It's my one day a week where I can unplug. I don't have to work. I don't have to go grocery shopping. I don't have to run errands. I don't have to go to appointments. Instead, I get to just sit around and spend the day with my wife. We're actually going to cook a couple meals together. We're going to have breakfast and dinner together. But we're also going to be playing with Jasper and doing other things, you know, watching shows, probably having a few drinks. It's going to be a good day for us, all right? So, yeah, the one day a year I actually get to do that. I'm very excited for that. But then when I come back on Tuesday, it'll be back to business. Baldur's Gate 3 and probably either RoboCop that night if it looks like we can finish the game. If not, maybe some Call of Duty, right? Or it could be Like a Dragon. And then Wednesday, it'll be more Baldur's Gate 3. And again, one of these late night streams. We have to play it by ear because if I can finish RoboCop, I want to finish RoboCop. I think we should wrap it up. So we'll see exactly what I can play then, depending. If it doesn't look like we'll finish RoboCop with a day stream, then likely instead we'll do like a Dragon and then maybe some Call of Duty. And then later on in the week, we'll try to finish it at the end of the month. You see? Okay. So there you go. Very nice. I hope that you all are excited very, very much for the stuff coming up this week. It should be very good. And then, of course, after that, the next thing coming up is my year-end series. My year-end series always take place around the first week of January. Sometimes they get pushed to the second. It depends on timing. But they include 2 things. Number 1, Game of the Year Awards. My personal picks for the best games of the year. Number 2, my most disappointing games of the year countdown, where I outline games, not necessarily that are the worst of the year, but the games that I really wanted more from, and they disappointed me, okay? But this year we're doing a 3rd series that's brand new, the Viewer's Choice Best Playthrough of the Year. You get to exercise your opinion on what was your favorite playthrough of 2023 right now. Type exclamation point, best of 2023, into the chat. The link will pop up. In that link, you can post up what you thought were the best playthroughs of the year. And similar to how we just did with the Christmas games, at the end of this month, I'm going to tally up the most nominated games, And you guys are going to vote probably like a top 10 of your favorite playthroughs, all right? Now, the funny part about it, you might say, well, I don't understand what's the difference between this and Game of the Year. Well, it's very different. For example, there very well may be games that you enjoyed seeing me play that I'm not going to nominate for Game of the Year. Like, maybe you really like me playing Modern Warfare. Well, I ain't nominating that for Game of the Year, but maybe you should nominate it for your favorite playthrough, right? What about a game that I'm just recently playing? Like RoboCop or Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that. Hey, even though I'm only playing it right now, it still might be your favorite playthrough of the year, and you might want to nominate it, you see? So, please do so. And I'm excited to see what you guys nominate, and at the end of the month, we'll get that going, and we'll have the year-end series early January, okay? Cool. All right, so that's what I've got on the agenda stacked up here for you all. I hope this sounds great. I'm excited for this week. I think this week's going to be a good combination. Baldur's Gate 3 progress, other fun stuff mixed in, the holiday event, which I'm very excited for. Like, good stuff coming up, right? I'm really excited. All right, so that's that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is time for us to get to the hot topic. It's time for DSP news, and it's time to talk about the Insomniac leak. So I've already told you the general skinny, right, of what's going on. However, what I feel like I should do here is talk about the specifics of the leak. All right. So first of all, a ton of game assets. So for example, they showed all these pre-production videos, screens, and everything about Wolverine. And basically, from what I saw, because I'm not watching a lot of it, I really don't want to watch a lot of it, because what you have to understand is when you go and you look at this stuff, this is pre-production stuff. This is not the final game. This is a work in progress. You don't even know how far along into production the stuff that's leaked is, right? This could have been stuff from very early on. Hey, there could be stuff that they were doing yesterday. Who knows? But, you know, it's not representative of what the final product's going to be, right? I mean, any movie that you see today doesn't look like how it finally comes out at the end. There's tons of work and effort and everything, the editing, effects, you know, sound. Everything has to happen to make that movie look good at the end product, right? So, from what I saw, basically what this Wolverine game is going to be is they're going to be traversal, yes, but it's not like Spider-Man. He has to use his claws, so he's climbing buildings by going patunk patunk with his claws, right, to climb up the side of a building. He can get into holes and ledges and windows and stuff that way. When he crawls inside, he basically goes into what's like an investigation mode. Now, for those who've watched the old X-Men cartoons from the 1990s, or maybe those of you who used to actually read the comic books, what you would know is that the Wolverine that's portrayed in the movies literally is not the Wolverine from that world. You know what I mean? Like, Wolverine is supposed to be a hunter, a tracker, a vicious guy who's like a wild animal. That's why he's fucking called Wolverine, right? Yes, he's a badass, but I think what they've done is they stylized him for the movies to turn Hugh Jackman into like the ultimate kind of badass guy. No nonsense, indestructible, bad attitude. Yeah, he has all that, but he actually has a more animalistic tendencies, right? So in this game, supposedly, you're actually going to use your abilities to track things. And actually, one of the things they show is like, oh, there's a glowing object. You go investigate it, and by investigating the object, you basically become like a detective mode. So now you can get the scent. So now you can follow that scent through the building to try to find where that person went or wherever it is. You don't know what you're tracking. You're just looking at pre-production gameplay. This is probably just them testing gameplay elements, right? So much like Spider-Man has spider sense, right? And he's going to track things because he's using his spider sense. Well, Wolverine's going to use his tracking sense, which makes sense. That's actually part of his abilities in the comics. But they never really seen that in the movies. They don't show that because do you want to see fucking Hugh Jackman sniffing people's asses in the ground? You know what I mean? Oh, it wasn't you. You ate beans. Oh, well, man, you really like menthol, right? Like, no, he's not going to be doing that in the movies. But it makes sense for him to be doing that in the game. You know, there's gameplay elements here, right? So what's funny is they're showing this online, and people are like ripping the game a new ass. Oh, this looks terrible. This is what they came up with. Wow, it looks just like Spider-Man. Wow, I can't believe this is what Insomniac is making. And it's like, first of all, you don't understand. This is pre-production. This is their initial ideas and how to implement them. This is not the entirety of the game and what it's going to be. This is just a part of it, right? So that just makes me look at it. I'm like, how can you can't judge the game by what's leaking. You know what I'm saying? You can get some initial ideas about what the game elements might be, but you can't judge it like that's the game. It's not the game. It's just not. And that's not fair to judge a game by a development leak. You know what I mean? I see it and I'm like, I actually find promise in that. I say, oh, so what they're doing is they're finding a way to adapt the character of Wolverine from the comic lore and turn him into a fun-to-play gameplay character. He's not just going to run around cutting everyone up the entire game. There's going to be platforming, there's going to be investigation, and there's going to be this kind of tracking element and stuff like that. That's good. I want variety of gameplay. I don't want it to just be Wolverine fighting the entirety of the game. I think it would actually get quite boring. So, this is a good thing, in my opinion, right? But no, these idiots will see this footage. Oh, it's terrible. See, this is an indication this game's going to trash. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, this is not an indication of that. This is an indication that you're an asshole and you don't understand game development, right? So anyway, that's just one of the many things that leaked. And the thing is, I'm of the impression, you know, I don't want to entertain these leaks. What I mean by that is they're out there. Right now, you can find a ton of game assets of Wolverine. You can find out a ton about this game now because these hackers leaked it all over the internet. But I don't want to participate in that. You know, I saw a little bit. What can I do? I'm going to eventually see some of it. It's going to be on social media. There's nothing you can do about it, right? But I don't want to sit there researching it and now looking at every piece of development of this game and judging it like an asshole from the outside, even though you don't know how far along in development this stuff is that's leaking. I also don't want to spoil myself. As you guys know, I'm someone who, if I'm interested in a game, I don't want to do research on it first. I want to play it at face value for what it is when it comes out. I feel like if I sit there and I research a game early, and I find every little thing out about the game early, you've kind of done yourself a disservice, right? Like, for example, in Spider-Man 2, okay? We already knew Venom was in the game, but what if we didn't? Can you imagine if no one knew Venom was going to be in that game? And then all of a sudden, it's a surprise appearance near the end of the game, and the whole final act is Venom. I think that would have been better. But these game developers, a lot of times, spoil their own games. I don't like that. I would rather play it from its own merits and enjoy it on its own merits, right? So, I'm not going to go into these leaks and spoil myself. But if you choose to, all right, go for it. If you want to research, if you want to find the information, it's on there, all right? It's all over the internet. But what I will talk about is that one of the things that's been leaked is this development roadmap for Insomniac. Now, I just want to make this clear. Development roadmaps are general guidelines and intentions. They are not necessarily concrete plans. We know this for a fact because the roadmap leaked earlier this year for Xbox. If you remember, Xbox Studios accidentally uploaded their outdated development roadmap to a court server. Remember they were having the big court battle about the Activision Blizzard, takeover or whatever, the buyout. They accidentally put this stuff that wasn't supposed to be there on a public server for everyone to see. And basically, that was a roadmap that revealed things like they're remaking Fallout 3. They're remaking Fallout 4. This game is in development you didn't even know about, right? And we're like, oh shit. So it spoiled a lot, right? So this roadmap for Insomniac, here's the development roadmap that has been spoiled. This is not necessarily fact. This is maybe intention or wishful thinking, but this is not necessarily fact. So, first of all, supposedly the next game that they're going to have and come out with is a Venom-centric game in 2025. Now, that's not very far-fetched at all, because if you played Spider-Man 2, you would know that Venom is a playable character in the game, just not for very long. You only play as Venom basically for one chapter, okay? And the combat is incredibly fun. Remember how I was abusing the system? I found a move that's basically uninterruptible. I just kept doing it over and over because I broke the game because that's what I do basically. But yeah, it was fun. And you felt very powerful playing as Venom when you did. So I could see this as a quick asset flip. They take the already established Venom character that they developed for Spider-Man 2, and instead they flesh this out to be a full-fledged game where you play as Venom the whole game and you get different abilities, and maybe this is an opposite side. Maybe you're fighting Spider-Man. Maybe you're fighting other Marvel heroes. You're the villain. That could be pretty cool, I feel. I don't know if that's what it's going to be, or maybe it's the redemption story of Venom. Now Venom becomes a hero, because in the comics, that's what happens. At first, Venom starts out as a villain, but basically, Eddie Brock gets control of the symbiote. He controls it now, and he sees the error of his ways, originally giving power over to the symbiote and letting it eat people and do messed up stuff. So now he becomes a hero. And actually, he teams up with Spider-Man many times to fight other symbiote creatures like Carnage and his offspring. Okay? So maybe that's what it'll be. We don't know. But that makes sense to me. Like, 2023 is over, right? They're likely not coming out with a game in 2024. So if their next game that's going to come out is 2025, yeah, I could absolutely see them doing a whole Venom-based good guy game or something like that in 2025, for sure. So then what they're saying is Wolverine's going to come out in 2026, which also I think would make sense. They're not going to come out with 2 giant games in 1 year. So maybe Venom is first as more of an asset flip, but expansion upon what you did in Spider-Man 2. And that'll give them more time to finish up, polish, and release Wolverine in 2026. So then supposedly the new Spider-Man game will be in 2028. But I think really the big one that everyone's shocked at, well, I would say 2. First of all, they are making another Ratchet and Clank, supposedly. This is at least on their agenda of games that they want to make. And they're aiming for a 2029 release window for a new Ratchet and Clank game. Now, listen. All right, I do have some stuff to say about this, okay? Ratchet and Clank, what the hell was it even called? The one for PS5. I can't even remember what the name of it was, right? I really don't. I don't remember what the name of it was. It was so... The game was good. The graphics were good. But, man, the gameplay was boring. I'm sorry. Like, it started off good. And then once you get halfway through the game, you've essentially unlocked all the weapons. And then the game just becomes really just... It's just a standard action platformer. The whole second half of the game, there's not that much interesting going on. It really feels like it kind of loses its steam, right? And by the time that I finished the game, I was kind of like, meh. And it was funny because a lot of people were like, how could you not love that game? Don't you see how revolutionary it was? I was like, it was not. Like, that game literally could have been on PS3 or PS4, maybe without walking through the portals or whatever. But outside of that, it was pretty much an on par, on pace Ratchet and Clank platformer. It didn't really innovate. It didn't really blow me away. It just felt like Ratchet and Clank, you know? A lot of people disagree with me, but I just don't think it was that good, right? So the fact that they're making another Ratchet and Clank for 2029 makes me wonder what it's going to be. Because, yes, that game sold, but if you want to know the truth, the reason that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sold is because it was a PS5 exclusive. And there just aren't a lot of those. Here's a game that's only going to be on PS5. You have to have a PS5 to play it. Everyone who owned a PS5 bought it to play the exclusive, so it sold well. If it wasn't, it probably wouldn't have done that well. Just being honest, I don't think it would have. So, for me, I'm interested to find out, like, what this new one will be. Because what else could you do with that formula, honestly? Like, what else can you do with Ratchet and Clank? I don't know if you could do anything innovative. It's just kind of like, that's an era of game from, like, PS2, PS3 era, right? And it did well for that time. But I feel like that gameplay style is kind of outdated. Switch between weapons, and each one has a little gimmick to it. Do some grinding, you know, platforming stuff. It's just not that interesting anymore. We've played it a million times now for various franchises. Even Ratchet and Clank, hell, has had a million outings. So, I don't know. That of all the things on the release schedule, this leaked roadmap, this is the one that kind of makes me scratch my head. Like, why are they making another one? Like, should have just left it, right? But I don't know. Maybe they want to do it. But anyway, the one that I think shocks everyone, because I don't think anyone knew this was happening. Supposedly, they're making X-Men. They're going to actually make an X-Men game. And that's supposed to come out in 2030. So we have a long time to wait, you know? 6 years. But if it really does come out, if the X-Men game comes out and is good, right? That could be interesting. X-Men hasn't been around for a while. Like, the X-Men movies are pretty much done, right? They kind of ran them into the ground. The last couple didn't do so well. So I would be excited to see if they could actually make a really good X-Men game. Because what you could do is you could have a cross-in between the Wolverine game and X-Men, bring in other X-Men. Maybe you could have a crossover where Spider-Man and Venom show up. Because you could have the Marvel game universe, the MGU, where all these Marvel game characters can cross over into each other's games and have cameo appearances and things. That would be pretty cool. And if Insomniac has done such a great job with Spider-Man, which they have, those Spider-Man games have been outstanding, I think that they could handle it, all right? But the problem here is they just had an insane leak. And I hate to say it, but the data that leaked, it's not just this game data that leaked. It's all their employees' private data. They could be sued into oblivion and go out of business. It could happen. If this employee information is used to do malicious things, and these employees say, well, this is the company's fault. They had a legal responsibility to protect our information. They didn't do it, right? They could sue them. And then if they get sued, that could be the end of that company. Because I don't believe that company would have enough assets to pay off all of their employees in a giant settlement. I don't believe that. I think that, I don't know. Now, the thing is, people say, well, no employee would sue them. You say that now. But what if someone's personal data leads to them losing everything, right? What if they get impersonated? What if their financials are ruined? What if they get harassed? I mean, yeah, this is giant. You have to understand. So I'm very curious what's going to happen in this regard. Data breaches happen all the time. And typically what ends up happening is nothing. Meaning the data that leaks doesn't amount to anything. No one gets hurt. And then what ends up happening is the company responsible will say, oh, just as a show of good faith, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a year of free identity protection monitoring. And if anything does happen, let us know and we'll hire professionals to try to clean it up or something like that. But in this case, it's literally the whole company. This is not, all the data apparently is online, which is fucked. That's fucked up. It's one thing, okay, the game assets. It's another thing to actually take people's personal lives and hold them for ransom. And I think that's where the heinousness of this crime comes into play, that this is not some troll. This is not the kid who hacked the GTA 6 server to put the data out on the internet for the game. This is criminals who are actually trying to hurt the employees of Insomniac in order to extort this company out of money. I think it was a $2 million ransom is what they were demanding, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's bad. And I'm sure we're going to have more information moving forward about this, okay? That's really all I have to say about it today. The data about the games is interesting, but I don't really want to harp on people's private information being leaked all over the internet. I've personally had this happen to me many times, and it's terrible, So, okay, one more thing, because there is one more other story. Are you aware? Get this. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, a game that released 12 days ago, and I opted to not play. Are you aware that this game has already been heavily discounted and is being sold for $50 everywhere? And chances are people are actually suspecting that the price will drop even further by the end of the year. And what's hilarious is that Avatar was supposed to be the first $70 release from Ubisoft. They haven't been charging $70 for their games up to this point. And originally, they were thinking that it was going to be Skull and Bones that was going to be the first $70 release. But then everyone realized, well, Skull and Bones is going to suck. Everyone says it's terrible. So no one's going to pay $70 for that. So they said, oh, instead, let's try that with Avatar. Well, apparently no one bought it. Have you ever heard of a game within 2 weeks of its release dropping by a third of its price tag? So I don't think anyone bought this game. It sounds to me like this game is a monstrous flop. Why else would every single company be discounting its price by $20? They're trying to sell the game they thought it would have sold, and it didn't sell at all. So everyone's slashing prices. So if you're interested in actually playing the Avatar game, I would recommend maybe holding out another week or two, and you might actually get a really good deal on it by, like, the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like it's going to keep dipping. I couldn't imagine that the price would stay. Probably what happened is they'll see through Christmas how it sells, and if it doesn't sell well for the Christmas holiday, they'll probably drop it another $20. I wouldn't be surprised if this game's a $30 game by, like, 2024, within a month of its release. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is DSP News for today. Hope you enjoyed the segment. Let's now get to shout-outs. Hold on. 'Tis the season for lots of junk mail. Get this out of here. 'Tis the season for your spam filter to be overloaded with spam emails. That is true. That is very true right now. First contribution of the day. Now, by the way, I didn't even bring this up today yet, okay? As you know, I'm a crowdfunded individual, all right? And my goals for today are to hit 650 members by the end of today, so by the end of both streams, and to hit $50 per stream in tips. Now, yesterday we had a really great first stream, and then the Street Fighter stream was incredibly slow, almost no support. But it evened out because I had a really good first stream of Baldur's Gate 3. Okay? Today, I would love to hit 650 members again. We had this, and then we lost it because a bunch expired, and then we gained some, and then more expire, and then we gained some, and then more expire. It's very frustrating. It's hard. We can't maintain. So, today, if you want to help out the channel, please consider becoming a member or gifting some memberships to your fellow viewer. 'Tis the season of generosity, of course. I'm sure people would be very grateful to get those, and that would help out the channel. And, of course, the other thing is tips. So, just to give you guys some perspective, this week on Thursday, not only do I have to do grocery shopping, not only do I have to do my usual pet supplies, and not only is my wife and I going to order in a meal for the one time a week that we do so we don't have to cook, but I have to go to the liquor store and buy some liquor for the marathon on Saturday, okay? In addition, I have to buy the Grinch game and likely another game for the marathon on Saturday. So not only do I have to do all my usual stuff for the week, I also have to spend likely extra money, big extra money for all of this. Oh, by the way, I'm ordering a meal for Saturday's stream. Oh, by the way, of course, I want to have a Christmas Eve dinner with my wife. So you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of extra stuff coming up this week. A ton of extra costs. All right? So if you guys could support the stream today, that would really help because of all the stuff I have to drop in the next few days. Notably Thursday, I not only have to have my day out, but also buy games and stuff for Saturday. So, absolutely, any contributions today would be greatly appreciated. If we could hit the goals, the tips goal today would be very important to hit. It would help a lot. So please consider contributing via that method, okay? Speaking of which, our first tip of the day is from 1 Minute Man, and it is a $20 tip. Thank you so much, 1 Minute Man, for your usual daily support of all of my streams and content. I really, really appreciate that. Excuse me. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm sorry. So thank you very much, 1 Minute Man. First tip of the day. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. And what's funny is there was a troll in chat, and he says, oh, well, not like anyone has to spend any money on their friends and family for the holidays, laughing my ass off. Well, first of all, you don't, because obviously you don't have any. That's why you're sitting here trolling me on my stream. You're a no-life fucking loser. And number two, of course, it's not what I said. I said, if you like the content, please support it. Here's the goals. I didn't say break your bank trying to support my streams. You're just a ginormous idiot. Congratulations. Okay, let's continue. So, thank you to Genesis Gaming, who became a 22-month member and says 22 months of support. I want to wish you and everyone a very Merry Christmas. And you as well, Genesis Gaming. I hope that you're having a great holiday season here. And I hope that you are enjoying the festivities. I hope you'll be here for the festivities if you can make it this coming week. And again, thank you for 22 months of support. Super supporter level as well, which is the higher level of member. Thank you so much. Token, with the first super chat of the day, says, shout me out. Okay, Token, I shout you out. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Token. Thank you. Happy holidays. Okay, then. All right, we're having some fun today. All right, we got a little bit of extra time. If anyone wants to ask me a question, you can tag me in the chat. We'll have a little bit of discussion. And, you know, if any contributions further come in, I will shout those out as well. Just hold on 1 second. My leg hurts. Ouch. My leg is very stiff. I want to stand up for a second. Ow, ow, ow. Oh! My joint popped. That's what it was. My joint just popped when I stood up. Now it feels better. I'm getting old, man. That's the problem. When you get old... When you get old, man, you get these issues. Okay. Ooh. Okay. All right. Any topics, any questions, anything you guys want to talk about before we jump into Endgame of RoboCop today? I got to start doing yoga. Maybe I should start doing yoga. Think I need a better chair? You know, there's nothing wrong. This chair is very ergonomic. This is actually the most ergonomic chair I've ever had. It actually has full lumbar support. It has the curve you're supposed to have to elevate your legs. And it actually has a nice, like, shoulder, like rest here, too. It really is the best chair I've ever had. I've had it for about 2.5 years now. And I'm definitely going to get a very similar chair once this one, you know, wears out. I don't know how long it'll last. It's been 2.5 years. It seems fine. It creaks. But that's it. That's the only problem. It creaks. Like, if I bought that oil shit to put in it, it wouldn't creak. But I just never bother. I don't really care. But it's a really nice chair. I might, like I said, I might actually get a similar one for when I continue here with my stuff. Anyway, I received a $2 tip. No, I'm not playing, just so you know. This is from Donnie Watts, and he says, I'm not, it's so stupid, I'm not even going to bring it up, but I will say this. No, I'm not involved in anything with anyone. There's no stupid challenge matches going on. There's no drama going on. Anything you're hearing is bullshit. It's just the usual people talking out of their ass. I mean, it's pretty tremendous how much these losers have to try to make stuff up to try to get attention for themselves because they're fucking life losers, and this is what they do. I'm not involved in anything at all. You know, if anything happens that I'm involved in, you'll hear it from me. Okay? You know that. I will tell you. If I ever choose to be involved in something special or interesting, I will let you know. All right? You'll get it right from the horse's mouth, as they say. You don't have to hear it through third parties. You don't have to hear drama nonsense. It's just obsessed, mentally ill people who can't move on with their lives and think that they get a rise out of various different people by lying and saying nonsense on the internet. Just ignore them. Okay? There you go. How am I doing shots on Saturday? I'm not. I'm going back to my old methodology for the Christmas marathon. I'm just going to drink during the day however I want. I'll probably have a big thing of eggnog I'll drink every once in a while. I'm going to see what they have because every year the liquor store has different stuff for Christmas. There was one year they had this good flavored whiskey that I really liked, so I drank it over day on the rocks, but then they didn't have it again. Like, there was one that was apple flavored and there was one that was like peppermint flavored, and they were both super good, and I haven't seen them since. So I got to see what they have. So I'm just going to be having drinks over the course of the day. It's not going to be like, oh, if you donate a certain amount, I'll drink this. I'm not doing that. Instead, it's just going to be, I enjoy, and we all have a good time together, and if you want to contribute, by all means, please do. Thank you, but I'm not going to have a transactional deal with drinking or anything like that, okay? Okay. Derek, I will see you tonight for Like a Dragon. That sounds good. Sounds good to me. Yeah, I'm getting the alcoholic eggnog. Right, I'm getting the one from the liquor store. I don't know which one. They always have like 3 or 4 different brands. I never know what to get. Whatever I get is usually okay. There was one, it was creamier, and it had more of like, it wasn't like ultra sweet. And I liked that one a lot. But for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't the Old Santee. The Old Santee was sweet. There was one that was creamy, and I really liked it, but I don't know what it is, right? Okay. Another dumb troll said, why do you ask your chat to support your entire life? Oh, you mean like every content creator out there? Like every person who makes content for the internet and says, hey, please watch my content because the views I get paid for, and please click on this referral link because I get paid for that, and please watch this promotional paid advertisement because I get paid for that. You know, like everyone does, because that's our jobs. That's why we do that. You watch the free content, and then in return, if you like the content, you support it to get more free content down the line. That's how it works, but I guess you're too stupid to understand that. Happy holidays, though. Okay. Have I ever tried making my own eggnog? I would say years ago, I probably had plain eggnog and added some liquor to it and mixed it, but I don't remember. Now I just buy the one from the liquor store. I don't remember particularly when I was doing that. Like, I don't remember making it a certain time or anything like that. How do you make eggnog? It's brandy, isn't it? Aren't you supposed to put brandy in the eggnog? I've never even owned brandy in my life. Not once have I had it. So, if I made it, I'd probably put something else in there, right? 672 says, what about using new characters instead of using Blanca and Street Fighter? This would be more variety and people are tired of seeing the same fighters. So let me get this straight. You want me to start over again, just like I did with Dalsim. So for 2-3 weeks, you want me to play casual so I can learn a new character. Then you want me to try to get another character to master before we drop the game to play Tekken 8 in a month. That's what you're asking me for. You want me to just start over, go right back to that grind, back to casual play, start watching videos with a new character, try to learn them from scratch. Because I think this is the misconception. When people say things like, oh, why don't you just pick a new character? That's not that simple. There's work involved. You have to study. You have to learn. You have to practice. You have to get that muscle memory. Like now, I'm at the point with Dalsim that I've got muscle memory down for various different combos. So I know what to do in situations, and I feel kind of comfortable playing with the character. But it took a while to get there. That wasn't overnight. That was 6 casual streams to get there, and then going to ranked. You see? It took a while to get to that level. So if I was going to pick another character, I mean, you're talking 2 to 3 weeks of casual play, 1 week to try to rush them through ranked, and then that's it. I'm out of time. We're playing Tekken. I would argue there's not enough time. You know? I don't think there's enough time to do that at all. You know? I just don't believe that. So, but that's my take. I don't think that rushing through a character is a good idea either. I mean, thinking about the cast, like, who would I do that with? I don't know. If I were to pick a new character right now, shoot. I'd really have to think about this. Like, who would I want to do that with? I don't even know if I feel like it. If I feel like even playing with it. You know what I mean? Like I was about to say like Guile, but I don't know. I'll be honest. I find Guile pretty boring in Street Fighter 6. I do. I don't think there's much to him. It's stand there and zone with various sonic booms. Every once in a while, walk forward and do his high priority normals, like his knee bazooka and shit like that. Throw out a few punches if it hits, get a big combo. There's just not much to the character. He seems very, very thin. Very, very... Like, with other characters, there's various things you can do. Even with Dalsim, you keep away most of the match, but then every once in a while, you can mix it up. You can rush down. You can do some various things. It seems like Guile will just play the same no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, it'll just be really boring to me. I don't know if he appeals to me in this game. Anyway. I mean, I don't know. I definitely want to go back to Blanca first and see what happens there, right? Dr. Oink did $1.20 tip and says, drinks that baby gonna drink Kentucky Fried Whiskey. What the hell does that even mean? What is Kentucky Fried Whiskey? I certainly never heard of that one before. What the heck are you talking about? No, like I said, I like some of the flavored stuff that they do. So I want to see what they have. If they, I just want to walk in and see what do they have that's themed to Christmas. Obviously, eggnog is 100% themed to Christmas, right? But what else do they have? Will they have any other things that are themed for Christmas and maybe get 2 or 3 things and vary and drink them over the course of the marathon? I think that'd be pretty fun. And then, of course, having some of that, you know, with my wife and I over the holiday as well as we're home together. So, okay. Jade says, yo, look up the Grinch game. Oh, I did. I actually just looked it up right here. It's $28 on Xbox. I'm not sure what it is on Steam. I didn't look yet. How do you search for pricing on Steam? The Grinch Christmas Adventures. Steam. How do I get this to say Steam? Oh, it's still $40 on Steam. Why? All right, I'm getting it on Xbox for sure. Yeah, I'm not paying full price for that. So I'll get it on Xbox for 28 bucks. There you go. Okay, cool. Dissolve some candy canes in pure vodka. Yum, yum. Ah, okay. No, I'm going to shave soon. Because people ask me, why don't I shave all the time? Do you want to know the truth? I've explained this before. I have incredibly sensitive skin. Okay, I do. If I shave 2 to 3 times a week, my face breaks out. It's really annoying. I get, like, bad swelling, and I get, like, acne all over my face. It's disgusting. I hate it. And people have said, well, then why don't you just grow a full beard? I could. I mean, take a look. If I actually grew this out, it would look like a nice, thick, full beard. It would. And I don't care that it's gray or white. I don't. I don't care about having a white beard. I could do that. But, what I've seen from when I tried to do this, and it was like 10 years ago, admittedly, but when I tried to do that, basically, it really bothered me. When I lost my job at the helicopter place, and I didn't know what I was going to do, I changed my whole style. I grew my hair out. I started to grow a beard out, and it frustrated me. My whole face was very itchy, okay? And even if let's say I don't shave for a week, when I start to reach that 7 to 8 days, oh my God, it bothers me. I'm like, oh, this is really starting. I want to shave badly. Maybe if I forced myself to not shave for like 2 weeks and it would grow in enough, maybe then it wouldn't bother me as much. But it bothers me. Like legit, it bothers me if I don't shave for like a week. So I'm probably gonna shave like Thursday morning or something. Like my day off. I'll probably shave that morning for the day off or something like that. We'll see. You need the beard oils? Maybe I do. Maybe I need to go to the hipster shops and get several beard oils and put them all over my face. But then again, like I said, because my skin's so sensitive, how much you want to bet that my face would break out because of that? So I have a big swollen face. I bet I would. What is my favorite Christmas food? Ooh. Man, there's so many cool festive Christmas foods out there. You know. The one that my wife and I are about to finish is panettone. It's an Italian dessert bread, and we bought it last week when we were out. We got it at a store, and we've been eating it. It has cranberries and orange pieces in it, and it's really, really good. So we've been eating that. That's a tradition that we do every year. Traditionally, we would do some kind of a ham, but this year we're eating turkey because my parents bought us these stuffed turkey breasts. So we're going to be eating those. You know, my mom used to make homemade lasagna for Christmas or homemade manicotti for Christmas, and that was super good. Getting homemade Italian food around Christmas, oh, that's the good stuff right there. But I know this is going to sound very silly, all right? Basically, I feel the biggest tradition is every Christmas Eve, all right? My wife and I go and get Chinese food, and that's what we're going to do. In the tradition of the movie A Christmas Story, we're going to get Chinese food of some sort on Christmas Eve this year. And that's the tradition that we're going to uphold. So there you go. All right. All right, guys, I think it's time to end the show. Thank you for chilling. For those of you who did support the stream so far today, thank you. All right. Again, remember, best ways to support are memberships or tips today. That would help a ton if we could hit those goals. And, good show, although, you know, I hate having a show where the focus was bad news about Insomniac. That really sucks. And I'm nervous about the future. I'm nervous about a future where these leaks just keep happening. These hacks keep happening. I guess we're going to have to see. Someone's going to have to do something. There's got to be someone taking this more seriously because how does this happen to every company now, right? But anyway, thank you for a great show. Tomorrow, my final podcast of the week before the break. And then when we come back, it's the holiday, right? So, good stuff. And I hope that you all have a great day. If you're joining me for the gameplay today, thank you so very much. I appreciate having you here. And if you're not, hopefully you'll check out some of the stuff on demand. I wish you the best. Happy holidays, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow.